Dice have a prominent and storied role in the history of gaming. Over the years, I've collected a large number of dice of varying sizes, shapes, colors, and uses. They clog up every little portion of my household. Dice have always been a part of my gaming life. Deck building, on the other hand, is a relatively new concept. Many variations have been made on this concept, but one combines the two into not a deck building game, but a dice building game. Today, we're going to be looking at Quarriors by Mike Elliott and Eric Lang, and published by WizKids Games. In order to set up for the game of Quarriors, you need to set a glory tracker, 3 basic cards that will always be the same: basic quiddity, assistance, and portals. 3 spell cards, in this case the life spell, the growth incantation, and the death spell. And 7 creature cards. These are all drawn randomly from the decks that are still contained within the box. They are laid out and the corresponding dice are placed on top of them, ready for purchase. This becomes the offer for increasing the pool of your dice. Along with the glory tracker, you need a cube representing each player, along with a corresponding bag of the same color. Also, we give our players playmats that have the used areas, ready area, and active pool, as well as a quick summary of the rules. Into each player's bag, you need to place 4 assistants and 8 basic quiddity. Those all go into the bag and will be drawn blindly. On your turn, the first thing that you do is, if you have any creatures remaining in your ready area, you immediately score them. So if I had this assistant, we call them pawns, that has a creature facing as well as an attack and defense value placed in my ready area, it would move then to my used pile, and I would gain the glory set on the card, which in this case is 1. I would increase my glory by 1. The next thing that you do in your turn is you draw 6 dice. So you'll draw out 4, 5, 6, in this case all basic quiddity, and you will roll them. Once they're rolled, they move over to your active pool and can then be spent. If you have any creatures, you summon your creatures first. In this case, I don't have any creatures. If I had, say, this as well, I could pay 1 quiddity from my active area to my used pile in order to summon him, because he has a cost in the upper left-hand corner of 1. I then attack my opponents. The attack value of all of my creatures combined is sent to my opponents for them to block, killing some of their creatures perhaps, perhaps not. Then I have, in this case, 6 quiddity remaining. I look to the costs of all of these other cards, and I can purchase 1 die that costs 6 or less. In this case, I will take a Strong Defender of the Pale. When I buy him, he goes to my discard pile, like in a deck building game, which is your used pile. And the quiddity spent also goes there. The ready area keeps any creatures that I had there, and I would score him on the next turn if he survives. So let's continue on with a second turn. So our opponents have gone. We draw the remaining 6 dice out of our bag, roll them, and we roll 3 quiddity symbols, which is your basic resource for purchasing, and 3 assistants. We have 4 quiddity, I'm sorry. We can spend 3 quiddity to cast our 3 assistants. We have 1 quiddity remaining. We can purchase a assistant for 1 quiddity, and our turn would be over. The next turn, if these are still alive, would score, and we would score 3 points. Now each creature has special abilities that are activated, as well as spells. A assistant has this symbol, this rotating symbol with a star, and that is that you'll re-roll this die and one other die. It can be very useful. The portal symbol has either ones or twos in it, and that is take one extra die out of your bag and roll it, or take 2 dice out of your bag and roll it. Each of the creatures have special abilities listed on their cards, as well as the amount of glory that they score when they survive a turn. There are also spells. Spells have quiddity on them, and they also have their spell symbol. Spells can be moved from your active area to your ready area for no cost, and then their effect can be used moving them from the ready area to the used pile. You play, continuing around in clockwise order, until a certain number of players determines the victory point total needed to win the game. With 4 players, you only need 12 victory points, or glory. With 3 players, you need 15, and with 2 players, you need 20. This allows larger groups of people to be able to play through more quickly. And that's how you play Quarriors. Alrighty folks, we're here with Quarriors, and we've decided that Dakota is going to go first. So he's going to draw 6 dice out of his bag, roll them, and then play them. My favorite part of this game is the obnoxiousness of the dice.
I thought it was handling, your sass.
They're just so obnoxious.
No, because you're going to score 4 and you're at 11, right? Don't you win?
Does he score for 3?
He scores for 3.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Okay, so never mind.
Well, I'm fixing. I don't think I'm going to break through that, but so we got. Yeah, so 3.
I realized that.
It's going to get me. Nah, I think Kirk wins.
Yeah, because I didn't realize he scored for 3. It's the first one I've scored. So he scores for 3 plus 1. It's 15.
Yep.
So I thought I was going to sit at 14. You were going to roll around the rest of it. So
You did it.
yeah.
So guys, that was Quarriors. It's a pretty fun game. It's actually fairly easy to pick up. Before we did this, I had completely forgotten the rules, so learned them really quickly again. My biggest problem with it, and this is the problem I have with every game that has dice, I can't roll dice worth crap. I literally can't. I don't know what it is. Any game, be it from like Warhammer, Dungeons and Dragons, Quarriors, I can't roll dice.
Let's not get carried away, Steven. You roll dice amazing the first time. Then after you touch them,
Oh yeah.
no, it's crap from that
I
on.
get one good roll and everything else is cursed. That's why I have so many different sets of dice. I've had to buy new ones each time. It is crap. But anyways, back to Quarriors. I like the game actually, even if I'm terrible at rolling dice. I really like the game. I like all the different like creature dice that you can get. I like their different effects. The dice themselves are really well made with all the designs on them and everything like that. That's one thing I really like, that they took the time to make all the dice look really cool. It's not just a decal on there, it's actually like engraved with some feeling. So I mean I really actually do enjoy playing Quarriors. Can't wait to play the expansions. I actually give Quarriors a 4 out of 5.
Cool.
Okay. So, I like the drafting mechanic of it, but personally, I kind of wish sometimes that it was a little bit more like Dice Masters, where you've got your preset guys that you draw from.
That's cool.
as
Yeah.
you. I like the concept of it, but honestly, at the end of the day, it is a dice rolling game, so the random factor is very crucial, and it's half the game, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, you can go from 0 to hero in a matter of seconds.
Yeah.
And like, but I do like the drafting mechanic, and you don't use all of the monsters at once. You use a set amount of them.
Yeah.
So it's quasi different.
Yeah. It makes
time.
for a different gameplay experience each time you sit down to play.
And each monster has 3 different forms that you can
Yeah.
draw on. So like the Supreme Ultimate Defender of God's front door can sometimes be not as amazing.
Yeah.
But I'll give it a solid 4 out of 6.
4 out of 6. Dakota just hit on my point, my bone of contention on the game, and that is the issue that there are some of the die. Well, all the dice have 3 different versions of the die, and it can get confusing, especially if you play it a couple of times in a row, where you're
The
like,
die stays the
oh
same,
yeah, because the die stays the same. You still see the same component in front of you, but unless you look to the card, you don't realize that, oh, that death dealer that used to let me steal another guy's card from their used pile doesn't do that anymore. And so it helps to have people remind you, but I feel like it's going to happen that you're going to play based on an assumption that's wrong. And I recognize why they did it, is that they didn't want to make that number of different sets of die. You get more replay value out of one set of 5 dice.
It also stops people from recognizing, oh, the Death Dealer. I need to draft all those because it's going to be amazing.
That's true. Yeah.
Those so far of the 2 versions we've seen of
Yeah.
Death Dealer.
But I do have to say that as a game in general, I love it. I think it's hilarious. I love the obnoxiousness of the dice and shaking the bag and annoying everybody at the table with you. It's a fun, goofy game. For me, I give Quarriors a 3.5 out of 5. So 3.5, 4 out of 6, 4 out of 5, right?
Yep.
All right. That's Quarriors, folks.
Thank you for watching another episode of Board with Friends. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, check out our GoFundMe page linked in the video description. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope that you're never bored, but if you are, we hope that you're bored with friends.